Vagabonds and Modern Gods. I am John.
And I am Richard.
Don't bore us, get to the chorus. We've got underrated books of the week. We've got a little bit of the old fart rule as we go back to 1983 to talk about the books that shaped our lives as collectors. We've got a little show and tell today where Richard and I show off some of our newest acquisitions into our collection. And of course, we've got the hot book of the week. But first, a word from this week's sponsor, Richard. Can you keep track of what you're reading?
You know, I can. And it's specifically because of the new app by Wacom.
Wacom is great for comic book collectors and, more importantly, comic book readers. Track what you own, what you've read, what to read next. You can add whatever data you like. If you are a super nerd like Richard and I, you can add the CGC grade, the page quality, whatever you want to add. It's like a social network for comic book readers and collectors. You can see what your friends are reading, what issues they're missing, and more. I like spying on Richard's collection.
Yeah, it's great. I spy on John's too. John has more books in it than I do, but
I know. The best part is it's free. If you download it right now, it's called Wacom, Whakoom. That's Wacom. It's at the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store. And you can follow me and Richard on Wacom. I am at John_Hughes, Hughes, just like the famous director of 16 Candles. And Richard, what they can find you as?
They can find me at Chronosafe, CHRONO, S as in Sam, A, F as in Frank, E, Chronosafe.
What the heck does that mean?
It's a name I've had for 25 years.
When you were in Lestat, the goth band, were you Chronosafe? That you should have been.
I was Chronosafe back then. Yes, I was.
Back to Wacom. It is on the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Check it out. Try it for free. You got nothing to lose. Let us know what you think. It is Wacom. Moving on to our hot book of the week. Richard, here we go again. It's Marvel's Voices, Spider-Verse #1.
More Spider-Verse stuff. Okay, here we go again. Speculation time based on the first appearances of a couple of new Spider-Verse characters. We've got Recluse, a female Spider-Verse character who comes from a world that is ruled by Electro.
Why is she called Recluse? If she leaves the house, she's not a recluse if she's out there fighting crime.
Recluse is a type of spider.
Oh, dude.
It's a poisonous spider.
I get it now. Thank you.
And Spider-Friend, a Spider-Man based character that comes from a universe based around sitcom tropes.
It's just as stupid as it sounds, folks.
Yeah, this is an interesting book. It's a whopping $9.99 price point. Wow. So I don't know if this is going to be a heavily ordered book.
Well, it does explain one thing. There's a whole bunch of variants around this. There is a Jiang trade dress variant, which is going for about $25. It's got Miles on it. It's got Spider-Punk and a few of the other Spider-Verse characters. And then there is a Jiang 1 in 50 Virgin variant, which is going for $150 to $170 right now. I can't imagine many stores ordering 50 copies of a $10 book.
Right.
Like this. So that 1 in 50 may truly be scarce. There's the In-Hyuk Lee variant, which features Recluse and Spider-Friend on the cover. That one's still going for cover price. And the A cover, the regular A cover, is going for cover price or even like $12 on eBay. So, you know, it's the flavor of the week for the Spider-Verse characters.
Yeah, I am just afraid that Marvel is going to water down the whole concept of the Spider-Verse to the point where it's meaningless by the time the movie comes out.
You think?
Yeah.
Richard, they're not watering down Spider-Man at all.
I don't know why they have to be so heavy-handed. You know, it's one of those things, where one of these things works really well. Let's try 10 of them and see how much we can milk it before the trend goes away. Why not just leave it at the one and keep the trend?
I do get the good intentions behind the Marvel's Voices series. You know, it's all about inclusivity. It's all about representation. But some of it is just ding-dong ridiculous. Spider-Friend. Spider-Friend. He like lives in the Friends universe, or Ross and Rachel, and
Jeez.
Uh,
I don't really see this book being a thing in a year from now. If you enjoy the book, read it,
yeah.
but I wouldn't invest a whole lot of money in it.
Someone in the comments last week, when we were going off about Spider-Verse stories, had a good point. They said that we were really excited for the Spider-Verse trailer, yet here we are trashing the very book and the concept. I would like to be very specific. I was not excited about the Spider-Verse trailer. Richard was.
Again, it's I'm a big Miles fan. That's obvious. But I like the Spider Verse movies because of the tension they create. There is a literary tension that gets created between Spider Man and the rest of the universe. In this case, it's Miles Morales and the rest of the Spider people. And that tension is what I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to for that setup for that, him working through it and then coming out at the end. Probably it's going to be a cliffhanger because remember, this is a two-part movie. Well, there's two Spider-Verse movies. There's one coming out this year and there's one coming out next year. So I'm not really anticipating a huge conclusion to this movie. So that tension may still exist and we have to go into it to the next movie. So I'm looking forward to that. The comic books, I think we're drifting from Spider Friend. I think we're drifting away from, Miles is the center of the Spider Verse movie, Miles and Gwen, and we're drifting to these other characters. And I was talking about it works for one. Let's try it with 10 more times. Well, it worked for Spider-Man Noir, and it worked for the characters in the movie, the first movie, and that was great. Seeing those universes was really cool. But to see another 20, 30 universes without any direct connection to the centralized plot that's going through the movie gets a little long in the tooth. It's like season 15 of Walking Dead. Do we need 15 seasons of Walking Dead? Um,
Oh man, poor Dan Slott was kind of getting it in the comments, also from last week's show, and I think that's where my disappointment comes in. Is I'm actually a big Dan Slott fan. I like a lot of what Dan Slott has done in the past, specifically with Spider-Man. And boy, is this going to be a hot take right here? I can't wait to see the comments after I say this. I liked Brand New Day. That brought me back. Now, now, now be careful. I said brand new day. I did not say one more day.
okay.
One more day was, I think it was a Band-Aid that had to be ripped off. I think it had to happen. Did it have to happen that way? No, that was dumb. They should have just done a hard reboot, and just a total reset. Hey, this is Spider-Man now. Deal with it. And But Brand New Day brought me back to Spider-Man after a long time, and Mr. Negative and all that stuff when it was Dan Slott first started, it was good. And, of course, he was, even though it was supposed to be a clean reset, he was still saddled with a bunch of stuff. What does Mary Jane remember? Who's still baggage, but I don't know. I don't know if he's just trying to keep his medical insurance or what now.
No, I don't know how much he is given by the higher ups as to the
Right.
direction of what he writes. There is this overarching idea where comic books now feel like lead-ins to movies or
Mhm.
TV shows. So he may have been told, okay, here's the characters you need to develop. We'll give you the latitude to develop, but at the end of the story, things need to be in this position because that feeds into the next property that we're going to use to lead into Spider-Verse. So, give Mr. Slott some leeway because he may not be the only person making these decisions.
I would also say someone else left a comment, but it's something we've said on this show many times. You're Dan Slott, or you're just a Marvel writer, any Marvel writer. Why would you ever give them anything new or truly innovative? You're
Right.
not going to own it. You're not going to control it. You're going to participate somewhat, but not like Robert Kirkman in Walking Dead, to go back to your 15 seasons. I mean, he owns The Walking Dead. Can you imagine? So, yeah, he was writing for Marvel when he created that. Imagine if he had given that to Marvel under the Epic imprint or something.
I don't think Marvel wants new ideas. I
No.
think Marvel has gotten to the point now. We're kind of wandering, But Marvel has gotten to the point now where they have enough IP already accumulated. It has a proven track record of making this particular character has made this much amount of money. This particular character has made this much. So if we have a movie where both of these characters are in it, we can expect an audience of this. So they have all these analytics about the characters they have. Adding a new character means you've got this unknown quantity, and now we've got to adapt and hope that this particular character is going to be profitable. I don't think they're in the mode of making movies anymore. I think they're in the mode of making money, and that's Disney.
Yeah, and it's sad because you're never going to have another Deadpool.
No,
You're not going to have another Sleepwalker. Maybe
but
that's a good.
it's yeah, but I think it's a great thing for the indie market. I mean, we live in a world now where you can publish a comic book in the same quality that Marvel or DC or Image does. You can publish a comic book yourself, and now distribution is going to be a problem, but
You be like Swaggle House and start a Kickstarter and get it funded.
that's a good point.
The only thing stopping you is you.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. It's a great time to be alive. I mean, it's like the back in the old days when you had Cerebus and you had Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Everything
Mhm.
was in black and white because it was cheap, but you could publish it and you could do it yourself without any assistance. And we now live in a world where you can do it yourself and have the same level of quality. I hope that it's going to spawn a whole new round of independent publishers and writers and artists who will own their properties and then be approached by Amazon to make some movie direct.
Joe Quesada at Amazon.
Yeah, exactly. That's perfect. Maybe Joe is onto something. Maybe he has some insight that we don't.
Maybe Amazon's onto something hiring Joe. I mean, think about the connections that man has.
Right.
Let's remind everyone why we love this hobby. So we're going to do a little show and tell. We haven't done this in a while, Richard. Apologies to the podcast listeners. We will try to describe in detail as much as we can, but this is really one you might want to flip over to the YouTube channel and check it out.
Mhm.
Just some stuff randomly that we've gotten recently. I can start off with something we haven't really had an episode on yet. Marvel Westerns.
Oh, okay.
Now, why haven't we had an episode on this? Because it would be me and like 4 other people who would be interested in this.
I don't think so. Whenever you mention westerns, there seems to be an audience out there that's listening.
Let's test it. I love these early Marvel Silver Age Westerns. This is Gunsmoke Western, issue number 52. It's Jack Kirby cover. It's got Kid Colt and Wyatt Earp.
It's a great
So,
cover.
a lot of these early pre-hero Kirby covers on these are just gorgeous. And these books are impossible in 6.0 or higher. They're just really scarce. This is a particular favorite of mine. Kid Colt number 89. It is Kirby and Ditko.
Mhm.
Kirby inked by Ditko.
So, what kind of grade do you think they are?
Oh, I didn't buy them unless I thought they were 5.0 or better. Most of them are 6s or 7s. I bought a little collection and they all had this little stamp on it by a guy named EJ Koblish
Oh,
owned these books. See,
okay.
thanks EJ for your collection. I'm taking good care of it.
Mhm.
Uh, I have gotten some of these slabbed before in the past and gotten 7.5s, 8.0s. And when times were tight, like, during the purge, I would put them up on eBay, $200, $300 each, and I think I paid for them raw $10 to $30, depending on what they are. This is Two Gun Kid from issue 55. This is before they revamped the character to make him more superheroic with a mask and everything. This is the original Two Gun Kid by Kirby. So just really good stuff. A thing about these Marvel Westerns is almost every comic shop I go to has this tucked away in the back of the back issues is this sad little short box with the word Westerns on scrawled with a Sharpie. And you can just go in there and find them and get them for like $5-10, press them, clean them, and they look great. And you can, if you're a flipper, there are guys like me out there that are looking for high grade copies of these books, and they're so scarce because they're the demand I don't think is there. So again, they've been sitting, rotting away in these poor little boxes that are silverfish infested. Who knows what else is going on?
Well, you're there to rescue them.
I am. What do you have?
I've got a couple different things. Let me start off with I am a big Miracle Man fan. And Miracle Man #1, there are a couple different variants of it. There is the blue and gold, which it's a limited edition. Searched for the gold, found the gold, had it slabbed. Great book. Then there's of course the regular #1 cover. Then there is the UK variant. They published about 1,600 copies specifically for the UK market. In the UK market, the back cover for that book is a yellow advertisement as opposed to the Zot advertisement that's on the back of the.
We had someone in the live chat when we were doing a live stream tell us about this, right?
Did they tell us about that? This is something I've been looking for a while.
Okay. Okay.
So I have a search on eBay that runs constantly, and I've seen a number of copies, and some copies came up, and this one showed up. This is a 9.0. It was an auction. You see, there's a label right there. It says UK edition. So I was looking at like 9 or 10 different, not 9 or 10. There's 5 or 6 different copies of this book. This one was up there. The auction was for $50. Start at 50. Wasn't getting any play. I had my sniping software set for $75. I get it for $50. Great.
Awesome.
By the time tax and shipping, I'm like $75 in. So I think it's great because normally the raws of this book go for about $300 is what people are asking for. Get it here, flip it over, and it does not have the yellow back. It has the standard Zot back, which is what you get for, this is a normal, I'm going to call it an American copy, even though it may have been sold in England or the UK, it is not the variant with the yellow back.
Why did CGC note it?
I have no idea. Did you
tell them to when you did the submission form?
I did not submit. I bought
you bought it like that.
I bought it slabbed.
So hold it up. What does it say by the price point? 75 cents. And what is to the right of the price point? Okay. It does have UK and Canada there.
Yeah. But
I hear what you're saying.
If you look at the normal copy from the US, it says the same thing. It also has the UK pricing on it.
Oh,
so the only way to tell the difference is the advertisement on the back. So this is me. I can't complain to the seller because it says on the cover UK edition, right?
Yeah.
So it was on me to do due diligence, and I completely spaced on this and did not notice it had the wrong back.
A picture of the back cover on the listing. Oh man.
So I don't know why CGC put UK edition on here. I have no idea, but I couldn't with good conscience sell it.
No,
I don't. It's not what I want, in terms of for my collection. I have a 9.6 of this book for the gold edition. I have a number of raws that are for with the UK or in the normal back. So I'm basically out $75. Because I'm never going to sell it. And I still need to have a yellow back for the UK edition. That's just that's a lesson. That is a lesson in doing your due diligence and being aware of what you're buying.
I'm sorry for this. I truly am, but I'm going to one-up you.
Oh, really? Okay.
I have a very similar story that I pulled. If you look at the show notes, I even have, what would you do?
Mm-hmm.
I'm on a live sale on Instagram, and someone has a copy of Venus #4 on the wall. And I'm excited.
Yeah.
And I see they're asking $300 for it.
Wow.
And I say, will you take $250? And they accept the offer and they ship me the book, and I get Venus #4, and it's a 2.5 as advertised. It arrives. Right?
Uh-huh. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh is right. Do you see what the problem is? You have to be a real Marvel timely Golden Age person to see what the issue is here. It is the Superior Comics Canadian edition. It is not the US timely edition.
Oh, okay. And there's a difference in value?
There's a difference in value. The inside back and front covers are blank.
Hmm.
It's got a different back cover because it's printed in Canada.
Okay.
It is a Canadian variant. Now, in these days, Canadian variants from the 80s, yeah, premium. For Golden Age books, not so much, quite the opposite.
Mm.
So it's on me because I joined the live stream late. I just said, hey, what's that Venus there? Will you take 250 for it? I don't know if the guy fully described it as being Canadian before I joined. What would you do?
Wow. Well, at 250, that seemed to be a fantastic price for that book. If it
Yeah,
wasn't, if it was the timely edition, I don't
right.
know. What would I do? I mean, I think you just gonna have to eat it. To be
I'm
honest.
with you. Exactly. I just like you said with your book, I'm going to suck it up and take it because now I will say this. If it was my live sale and someone if I had this book and someone said, will you take 250 for it? You know me, anybody that's joined our live sales knows me. I will note an issue
Right. Hmm.
2 or 3 times. I'll say, hey, just want to make sure this is the Superior Comics Canadian version before you claim this. You know, uh, should the seller have said that? Maybe, but I was excited. I saw Venus. I didn't have. I grabbed it.
See, I'm glad I didn't buy it for you because I would have had no idea.
The minute it arrived, I looked at it and I was like, "Oh, cool!" And then I do my thing where I always check the staples. I always check the centerfold, and I opened it up and I saw the blank inside front cover, and I went, "Ah, poop!" I knew exactly what it was. Uh, lessons we learn even 40 years into this game.
Now, with CGC, would they note that?
Absolutely,
Okay.
it's going to say Canadian edition on the label, which I might still send it and get it slabbed and sell it as Canadian edition. There's no shame in that. It's just
And
not going to be. It's not going to be my collection. I don't want those Canucks.
it's still a Venus #4, right? I mean,
Sorta. It's been
right, comic snob.
it's been tainted by those hosers. What's your next book?
My next book is I bought this off of gosh, I forget whose website. It is a Scarlet Witch. It is a Adam Hughes variant. It's
Have you
one.
not shown us this book like 7 times before?
I literally just opened the box for this.
Okay.
I think I did mention it before, but this is the first time I've had it in my hand. It's you see, it's got the um, COA here with it. I've been thinking Adam Hughes is having a signing with CGC, so I was thinking about submitting this book. It's a gorgeous book. There is a trade dress version of this. This is, I think, is the like I said, it's limited to 500 issues, 500 copies. But I just think it's a nice cover. And again, Adam Hughes is one of my favorite artists. So if I'm submitting something, this is probably going to be a 9/8 that I'll send in.
Did he sign the cover, front cover?
He has not, no.
On the art? No, just on the
On
art
the
itself.
art,
Like
uh,
his AH with an exclamation point.
I do not. I guess he is. Yes, there's AH right there.
Does it say after burn?
It does not.
Okay, because that's an homage of Avengers West Coast that John Byrne drew.
I did not know that.
Yeah, that's I think issue 40 something. Yeah, and at least give John Byrne credit for the layout. Jeez.
Yeah, I mean they usually do, but I
Yeah.
don't see any kind of comment here. It may be inside, but I don't see anything on the cover.
Bad Adam Hughes. Bad.
Yep.
Where's my rolled up newspaper to whack him on the nose? All right. CGC. We haven't had a CGC gripe fest in a while. This is not going to be that gripe fest. This
Oh,
is a combination of good and bad, like everything with CGC lately. Went to WonderCon, submitted a bunch of books at WonderCon. I submitted Fast Track Modern, Fast Track Economy, Express, and Magazine.
oh no. Okay.
All right.
All, now,
What do you-
first of all, was it all in the same shipment?
all in the same drop off.
Okay. Gotcha.
What do you think got here first?
I know because you showed me.
Ah, Fast Track Modern. Fast Track Modern arrived a week and a half after submission, which was insanely fast.
So what's express mean anymore?
What does my Express book is still in grading and encapsulation. My Express submission has been in grading and encapsulation, not received, in grading and encapsulation for 2 weeks now.
Wow.
My magazine has been in grading and encapsulation for 3 weeks now.
Mhm.
Why is it taking 3 weeks to grade and encapsulate a book?
Well, we've had turnarounds for magazines of up to a year. So,
You know, my Fast Track Economy got back in 2.5 weeks.
okay.
Not bad. So, first one is one of the Fast Track Moderns that is really cool. I found this cheap somewhere. I don't know if they knew what it was. And it is Jungle Action number 21, the famous clan cover, but it's a 30-cent variant.
Oh,
See
wow.
that 30-cent variant up there?
Yeah. Hmm.
And I love that John Byrne custom label with the John Byrne Black Panther at the top.
Yeah, that's great.
So it came back a 6.5 with a little press and clean. That's about what it was going to be. And they did note that it was the 30-cent variant. So very happy with that one.
Excellent.
And then I got my upgrade, my Flaming Carrot number 1. I had a 9.0. Now I have a 9.2. So I'm going to sell my 9.0 if anybody needs a Flaming Carrot 9.0. But incrementally, I think the next step is for me to get a 9.4.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat with Love and Rockets 1. I have a 9.0. I'm going to end up probably buying a 9.2 and then creeping up. Yeah.
I will pay for a 9.8 Flaming Carrot. It's tough
Same here. I would bite the bullet and pay a 9.8. Yeah.
for the same reason.
Hmm.
All black border,
Exactly.
all black border back cover as well. So it is a tough book in grade. And a couple that you will love and appreciate. The timing couldn't be better on these. Advanced Dungeons and Dragons number 1.
Yeah, that's gorgeous.
9.6 white pager. I thought it had an outside shot at a 9.8. I'm happy / expected a 9.6.
Mhm.
So happy with this, with the movie and everything. It's a book that's kind of taking off, along with this next book that's taking off alongside it. This one's really special. It is Dragonlance number 1,
Mm.
9.8 newsstand.
Newsstand.
So very happy with this. So I have a 9.8 direct, a 9.8 newsstand, and a 9.6 direct in this book. So next live sale, we're going to sell a couple of those.
You ever played Dungeons and Dragons?
Of course, we talked about that, didn't we?
I don't remember if we did.
Remember, I wasn't allowed because of my Christian.
Oh,
faith.
that's right. We did talk about it in the after show, right?
Speaking of Dan Slott, this is Ren and Stimpy number 6. Spider-Man versus Powdered Toast Man.
Mm-hmm.
Newsstand edition, 9.8 white pager. This has the distinction of being the very first book, the very first time Dan Slott ever wrote Spider-Man.
Oh, really?
Dan Slott was the writer for Ren and Stimpy and did this crossover. So that's where he first wrote Spider-Man, and that was from 1993. Wowza. Gosh. What else do you have? Do you have anything else?
Yeah, let's see. I don't have anything big. Oh, here's a book. This is a book that I read. I'll just show it. It's Prez number 1.
I love it.
This is a story about a teenager who gets elected president of the United States through social media, basically. There's this version, which is the original story, and then there is another story told sometime in the 2010s. I can't.
The Vertigo version. Yeah.
Right. So this is the first edition of it. I think it's only 6 issues in the whole series. But it's a great story. I mean, it really resonates with the way our politicians are chosen nowadays. This book, it wasn't very expensive. You see, it says 9.0. There's a $30 sticker on it. I think I ended up paying $25 for it. But I think with a good press, it's going to be higher than a 9.0. So just a cool book. If you ever get a chance to read, um, it's great, because to see an 18-year-old as president is just worth it.
Crazy Joe Simon book, one of the books that Joe Simon edited when he came back to DC in the 70s. And at the time, it was not universally acclaimed and or received. It kind of like Brother Power the Geek, his other famous flop for DC. But there are people like me that love to see Perez in their long box right next to Plop.
Speaking of Plop,
oh, what a segue!
Like, I won't pass up an opportunity to show a Plop number 1.
Love it.
I saw this in a long box at Fan Expo and had to have it. I'm a big fan of Plop and the artwork in it. This says it's about a 9.2 plus. It says a price of 55. I paid less, so I think 45 for it, something like that.
Nice.
But it's great condition. This is an all red cover. I don't see any spine ticks. I'm going to give it a good pressing, and I think it's going to be a 9.6 when it's all done.
That was a comic that was insanely popular when it first started. I remember my cousins would buy Plop, and I would get to read their plops. But do you know about the DC comic book mobile in the 70s?
No.
They used to have like kind of an ice cream truck that they put decals on, and they would go into New York and New Jersey neighborhoods, just like an ice cream truck, and sell comic books from the comic book mobile. And Bob Rozakis, who worked at DC, was in charge of the comic mobile. And they always said Plop was one of the biggest sellers from the comic book mobile.
Great book.
I love it. Basil Wolverton cover, Sergio Aragona's art inside. You cannot go wrong with Plop. Oh, all this is taking me back, Richard.
How far back is it taking you?
It's taking me back to when I had El Torito and I ended up with an old fart rule.
Oh, okay. I see. Yeah. Now it was bad. We're gonna need an intervention.
We're gonna need Diener or someone.
Yeah, Diener, send us something, please.
Really, submit your segues, please, people. Old fart rule this week. We go back 40 years to 1983, which, you know what? 1983 is 40 years. Oh man. Do you remember the big hubbub over Frank Miller's Ronin?
Yeah, I remember seeing it on the newsstands. I did not buy a copy though. I was a big Daredevil. I was reading Daredevil back then, but not Ronin.
You just described everyone else. This was Frank's big project after leaving Daredevil and Marvel. I will say it was a milestone for creators' rights, because Frank Miller was the first to negotiate with any of the big two for unprecedented creative control. And to retain the rights to good old Ronin, such as they are. But overall, a huge disappointment. People saw this and realized how much Klaus Janson actually brought to Daredevil with his inking and his coloring. Also, it was kind of like Camelot 3000, where there was just an interminable wait between issues. There was a 5-month gap between issues 4 and 5, another 3-month wait between issues 5 and 6.
I love Camelot 3000.
I know, but do you remember how waiting 1.5 years for issue 12?
Yeah.
I do too. That was painful. Ronin was expected to be huge, bigly, as they say, in parts of Florida. So retailers ordered accordingly. As a result, Ronin number ones continue to proliferate bargain bins and shops and conventions everywhere. To this day, 40 years later, you can get a Ronin 1 for $1, I think. But a CGC 9.8 sold for $49 last month. That's down from the 90-day average of $78. Believe it or not, there was a sequel last year, Ronin Book 2, from the new Frank Miller's Presents Comics company. Layouts by Frank, drawn by Philip Tan. 2 issues. Can't imagine anybody bought it. Did you buy it?
No.
Did you ever see it?
I don't remember seeing it, no.
I don't remember seeing it either. Frank Miller Comics, off to a great start. What am I going to do? Am I going to bring back Martha Washington? No, I'm going to bring back Ronin. Boy, What did you guys think of Ronin back in the day? Is it time for a critical reassessment? No. But let us know your comments.
Yeah, I'm really interested. If anybody really enjoyed the book, I would pick it up and read it. If people think it's worth it, but history has proven otherwise.
Rob Liefeld enjoyed it. He ripped off the double page spread for Shatterstar and X-Force once, almost line for line. Cue putting that up on the screen, Editor John.
I'll leave Mr. Liefeld alone today.
Let's move on to our underrated books of the week. Richard, what do you have?
My underrated book this week is Avengers number 10, which is the first appearance of Immortus, who is a variant of, you guessed it, Kang.
Into the Kangiverse.
Yes. You can still pick this book up for as little as $160 on eBay, which to me, it's not dirt cheap, but we're talking about a first appearance of a major villain, well, an important villain, let's say. And also, one of the first 10 issues of the Avengers storyline. It seems to me to be a bargain.
Yeah.
He appeared in the mid credit scene in Ant-Man Quantumania. Apparently.
Have you seen it yet?
No, I haven't.
So bad.
No, I think it's indicative of how people have gotten oversaturated with Marvel stuff.
But I like the first two Ant-Man movies. Why haven't I seen this one?
I don't know. I am going to go see Guardians of the Galaxy number 3. That is definite, because I think that storyline is awesome. The characters are awesome. The interactions between those characters are you can feel the chemistry between that crew. Maybe it's the lack of chemistry in Ant-Man. I really just have not gotten the same feel from that.
I just can't bring myself to go to a movie theater again.
I'm going to go see John Wick 4 by
People
myself.
are so rude and talking and phones, and I'm 50. Go on.
Anyway, I'm not looking for this book as an MCU hopeful. We're going to see a lot of Kang. We've got another season of Loki coming up. I'm sure we're going to see more Kang. But I'm looking post MCU, and this is an important character, an important villain for the Avengers, and this is his first appearance. And if you can pick it up for $160, $200, I think it's great. The CGC 9.8s are scarce. There has not been one sold since 2013. There is a 9.6 that sold this month for $4,300. But yeah, if you think you've got a 9.8 candidate, it's a good idea to get that thing slabbed.
Should have been slabbed a long time ago, man.
Right.
Do you have this?
I don't. I do not.
Do you have the first Ramatut?
Yes.
So you don't have the first Kang, Avengers 8 either, I assume.
No.
Okay, so you've got one of the triad.
Right.
I have none. I don't have any of them. The only Avengers I still have right now is an Avengers 4, and you're going to get that from my cold, dead fingers.
Yeah, making Kang an important villain in the MCU, I think was great. Kang is a threat, and he is a villain across different titles. But again, I'm just saturated with Marvel stuff right now, the MCU stuff. I mean, I'm not talking about comics. I'm talking specifically about the movies. Yeah. So seeing, John Majors for the next 10 movies is going to be a lot.
It's going to be major. Ooh. What? Stop. All right.
What's your pick for this week?
My pick this week is, we talked about Marvel Westerns.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing I buy are Marvel war books. Now, you say Marvel war books, you think Sergeant Fury, Captain Savage, and his Leatherneck Raiders. No, not those. I buy the Atlas war books from Marvel in the 50s when they were Atlas Comics. And one of them I bought, and I think you were with me at California Comic-Con when I picked this up. It is a classic cover. It is War Adventures number 12.
Yeah, I love that cover.
1953. Very similar to the Foxhole cover by Jack Kirby with a soldier with one eye injured. Very cool. It is actually by Carl Burgos. I thought for a long time this was Russ Heath. It's actually Carl Burgos. It is just a gorgeous cover. I can't believe this doesn't get more play. I think they're truly scarce because a CGC 6.0 sold in January for $530. There's only 21 of these on the CGC census.
That's
The highest graded is a 9.2. Can you imagine this cover in a 9.2?
That's gorgeous. And you got to remember, the United States was at war when that book came out.
Korean War, for
Korean
sure.
War, right. And so the emotions that were going around, I think that book captures. That's amazing. That is super cheap for, in my opinion, for a book of that caliber.
Do you remember what I paid for this at California Comic Con?
No.
I traded for it.
Oh, okay.
I traded, I think, a Wolverine comic of some sort that I had no love for. You know, it was a minor key. I can't remember. I think it was like an $80 book.
You had a whole backpack full of trade bait when we went there.
That's the way to do it now. You know, I'd rather keep my cash and trade for things I don't care about for things I do. All of these Atlas War titles are insanely underrated, especially in grades of 6.0 or higher. Again, when you're in that dark corner of your comic shop next to the Westerns box, if you look over, you might see its little partner there with the word war scribbled on in black Sharpie. Wouldn't hurt to go digging through those.
Right. I agree.
And we're going to wrap it up with that. Richard, are you going to go to your local LCS and start looking for those dusty boxes of Westerns? And
I think I am. You know, we have a mutual friend at Comics Are Go, Eric, and he has a great back stock. I think I'm going to go there and see. He usually has slabs, but
he knows what he's doing, though. That's the problem.
But you know, like you mentioned, I think they're undervalued. Just the market right now undervalues them, and you know, that, to me, that's an opportunity. I'd rather buy a great book that's undervalued than a flash in the pan book any day.
And on that Spider-Verse note, we will see you next time. Thanks, everybody.
Everybody stay safe.